Good evening and thank you for tuning into Halton News right here on your TV. It's Thursday, September 10th, and I'm Jessica Kading. 2 more people in Halton have confirmed positive with COVID-19, bringing our total number of active cases to 41. One of those new cases is in Oakville, the other in Milton. Burlington is currently reporting 9 cases, Oakville 19, Milton 12, and Halton Hills is still only reporting 1 case. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and today, World Suicide Prevention Day, a day to raise awareness and understanding about suicide and what we can do to help those dealing with mental illness. So tonight, we're featuring Ryan, a suicide attempt survivor who now has a new lease on life and wants to help others like him heal.
Ryan Luke has just moved from Burlington into this new house in Hamilton, a place he is proud to call home, his home and no one else's. He lives here with his dog Roxy and a cat who prefers to play hide and not so much seek. To anyone who doesn't know Ryan, you would never think that just a few short years ago he was here, fighting for his life after attempting suicide. I
started planning my suicidal ideation probably a month before I attempted to take my own life. So that'll be 5 years ago in January 7th. And it's terrifying to think that I was in such a state of mind that was the only option, was to stop being a burden to myself, stop being a burden to society, stop being a burden to my friends and family and coworkers. I didn't want to be on this earth anymore. So I started to plan. My ex-girlfriend at the time was going to take our dog, Roxy, to Brampton for a visit. And I made the decision after work to pick up alcohol. And I was on quite a few prescription medications at the time. And I drank a tremendous amount of alcohol. At one point in my life, I was drinking up to 18 tall boys a day regularly, which is quite a bit of alcohol. So I got home, started drinking, and it was a very, very dangerous combination of medication, prescription medication that I was popping into my mouth every half hour. And I cut for the first time. I still have the scars on my arm here. I did not want to live. I did not want to live.
Deciding to kill yourself is not something that just happens. For Ryan, it was a decision that stemmed from years of mental illness.
It started, I would say 4. I missed a lot of school in grade 7, grade 8. I was sick all the time, but I was mentally sick and no one really knew what was happening. So there wasn't a lot available back then, and that's okay. I don't point fingers, I don't blame. My life happened how it happened. But I struggled with very, very low self-esteem, low self-confidence, just built up anxiety, and depression was debilitating even at a young age. Lack of motivation, lack of interest. So looking back, those are all things that are clearly depression and anxiety. And I was embarrassed of those things.
And hiding his embarrassment was easy at first, especially after becoming friends with Jonathan Sherwood 32 years ago, who, like Ryan, was dealing with his own struggles at home.
You know, when you are born into trauma, you don't know any different. So it's not like Ryan came from this really prestige family where it was very loving and caring, and we sat down for dinner every night, and every Sunday we had family dinner, we watched movies together. We didn't come from that life. We came from chaos. We came from traumatic events. We came from hurt. And the only thing that gave us happiness was being together.
Now, as Jonathan was changing his life for the better, he would watch Ryan continue to spiral into his darkness. Fast forward to the night of the attempted suicide, when Ryan picks up the phone and calls Jonathan, a night that haunts him to this day.
So it was, I was mad, and I said, bye, and I just hung up because it hurt me, It was like all that I've been through in my life, and this is how you're gonna go out, man? You're gonna give up and call me and tell me this? Put this on me? Put that thought of, like, it was mixed. It was mixed. It was like, do you actually love me, man? Because if you love me, why would you call me and tell me this? And it was very, very disturbing. It was very hard. And obviously you can see today it's very hard to even speak on because I just can't imagine life with him not there. That's it.
Luckily, Ryan survived and has now spent the last few years putting his life back on track, working with Jonathan to be that beacon of hope for others.
A beacon of hope, yes, absolutely. Because I believe in people. I believe in every single person that I interact with. Everyone is talented, everyone has skills, everyone has potential, and it's about helping people, having positive role models in their life to help them believe in themselves.
That was Melissa Candelaria reporting. Another topic top of mind today is the transition back to school. Oakville North Burlington MPP Effie Triantafilopoulos was host to Minister of Education Stephen Lecce yesterday as they toured around one of Halton's brand new schools and assessed the safety measures in place.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm delighted to tell you that yesterday we were able to invite the Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, to join us on a tour of a brand new school that's opening in North Oakville. And it's the Dr. David R. Williams Elementary School. It's named after a very prominent Oakville resident who's actually an astronaut, a physician, and an aquanaut. So we're really delighted that the school was named after him. And we were able to have a tour of the new school and see all of the safety protocols that have been put in place by the principal and her team. Along with us was Kelly Amos, who is our local Oakville school trustee, and Nav Nanda, who is the president of the local residents association. As you know, this community is a community that's fast growing. The population is a population of young families, so a need for a lot of schools. And this school, Dr. Williams School, will actually be able to house about 770 students, along with 88 childcare spaces. So it was an exciting day, a brand new school, beautiful community, and Minister Lecce was able to see firsthand all of the protocols that have been put in place and kind of walk through the beautiful, beautiful school. It's very modern, lots of windows, lots of light coming in. It'll be terrific, a terrific learning environment for the young kids going into school.
After having gone through the tour herself and seeing inside those classrooms firsthand, I asked MPP Triantafilopoulos how confident she felt about the back-to-school plan and the safety measures that are in place.
I can tell you that the team at the school are very well organized. They anticipated every possible situation and have a plan for everything. We walked in immediately, and there was a table there for us to also be able to sanitize our hands. As you walk through all of the corridors, there are arrows pointing in which direction you should be going to. They've clustered the kindergarten classes in one section so that everyone is kind of working with one group of teachers with one group of students throughout. So it was really great. It was really great. It was a great afternoon, and it was a pleasure for us that we could show the minister himself firsthand how Halton District School Board is going to be running all of its classes, not just the new school.
And what was his reaction?
He was excited as well. I think that for him, each and every time he's able to meet with educators and watch and how we're all working hard to ensure that the children are going to be safe in a school environment. It's helping to reassure him that all the investments the government of Ontario has been making are basically funds well spent in the right areas. As a matter of fact, when we include the federal government's recent announcement of $381 million, the Ontario government has actually invested about $1.3 billion since June into all of the measures we have to take to keep kids safe. So it includes the cleansing, it includes the transportation, the school buses, it includes all of the safety protocols, about 1,300 custodians, 625 nurses with the local public health units. So a lot of investment in all of the right areas that I think will kind of prepare us with the right tools going forward, so that the kids can have a different but very enjoyable school experience.
Oakville MPP Stephen Crawford is a father to 4 daughters and said he is also very confident about Ontario's back-to-school plan, as well as how our local school boards have prepared.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. So back to school has been staggered in different parts of the province and the regions, but I mean, my daughters started back on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they're staggered off on Thursday, Friday, and then they'll return to a normal schedule starting next week. So I think so far, the government has handled the situation well. We've invested more than any other province in the country in terms of PPE and spending per pupil. In fact, our government is spending 5 times what the BC government is, for example, in terms of per student spending on getting students safely back in the classroom. So I'm confident that between our educators, our parents, and our government, we're all going to collaboratively work together, and we will get through this. And that doesn't mean there won't be isolated cases. They will probably appear from time to time, but it's all about tracing and then contacting people. And we've got to focus on that as well if indeed there is any COVID cases in schools in the future.
As we mentioned earlier this week, Wellington-Halton Hills MP Michael Chong has been named Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs. And after a busy week in caucus, we were finally able to speak with him this morning about some of those issues that he's going to be looking at more closely.
It's clear that Canada finds itself in a dangerous and precarious world right now. We have problems around the world that Canadians and Canadian interests are facing. We've got the detention of the 2 Michaels in China. We have some 300,000 Canadian citizens living in Hong Kong whose rights are under threat from an increasingly determined government in Beijing. We have difficult relations with Saudi Arabia, who took retaliatory action against us in the last several years. We've got challenges in democracies in Eastern Europe with fraudulent elections taking place in Belarus. And we've got the ongoing issues that we face with our trading relationship with the United States. So I think it's clear that the government's approach on many of these files isn't working. And so I think we need a complete review of these critical files, particularly the China file, with the view to doing things differently. And so I'm looking forward to getting my hands dirty on this file. I'm looking forward to tackling this issue and coming forward with a new approach to foreign affairs.
Meanwhile, talk of an election coming sooner rather than later has been circulating, especially as Parliament gets ready to resume this month. We spoke with Chong about that as well and asked him about the likelihood of an election.
We don't want to have an election right now. We don't think that that's what Canadians want. So it's incumbent on the government to work with the opposition parties to ensure that we get things done for Canadians. Canadians are scared. They're scared about their lives and their livelihoods. As you pointed out, we're in the middle of a pandemic still with no vaccine yet in place. The government needs to do a much better job of working with opposition parties. They can't forget that last election, Canadians put them on a tight leash. Canadians said, we're not going to give you a majority, we're going to give you a minority, and that means you've got to work with opposition parties in order to get your agenda through. But to this point, the government hasn't shown a lot of cooperation in working with opposition parties to get things done. And so our view is that they need to work with us in order to address the two critical issues facing Canadians. How do we continue to protect lives during this pandemic? And secondly, how do we save Canadians' livelihoods? How do we save their jobs and ensure an economic recovery that protects the future prosperity of Canadians? There likely will be a number of confidence votes taking place at the end of this month. The speech from the throne will be on September 23rd. Shortly thereafter, there will be a series of confidence votes. And it's really incumbent on Prime Minister Trudeau to work with the opposition parties to secure support for his agenda. To this point, we've not heard anything from the government. They've not reached out to us to discuss with us what they'd like to do this fall. And I think it's important that they do that in order to ensure continued cooperation so that we focus on those two things, saving lives and livelihoods.
Thanks for being with us here on Halton News. We do need to take a short break, but we'll be right back with Burlington MP Karina Gould and the Executive Director of the Burlington Food Bank. Stay with us. Welcome back to Halton News. In tonight's update from the Burlington Food Bank, the Executive Director, Robin Bailey, wanted to take the opportunity to thank our Burlington MP Karina Gould for the federal government's efforts thus far during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as for the support of summer students.
And I'm here with Karina Gould, our MP. We're so happy to have you here, Karina, and we just wanted to thank you for a couple of things that your government did. The first one being the CERB project, and it really helped a lot of our families and alleviated a bit of the stress on us. And the other really big one for us was we were able to have Samantha as one of our summer students, and she was just incredible and helped us so much in taking orders for clients, making sure that things were operating really well for us in the back, and really stepped in as almost like an extra manager for us. So thank you so much for providing the serve, but also Samantha to us. So thanks again.
Well, look, it's such a pleasure and it's great to be here with you. And I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who works and volunteers and donates to the food bank here in Burlington. You are providing an incredible service to those who are in need in our community. And so it's great that we can complement each other and work together and ensure that the supports that are being provided by the federal government, whether they're income supports, grants to organizations like the food bank or a summer student who's an extra pair of hands actually, in there working, can just complement the work that you're doing and helping so many people in our community. So thanks so much, everyone who has been able to support the food bank. And whether you're a regular contributor or you want to get started, next week is Smile Cookie Week here in Burlington. So don't forget to pop by a Tim's near you, buy a Smile Cookie, and all proceeds will go to the Burlington Food Bank.
Thanks again, Karina.
It was lovely outside today. Cooler temperatures expected throughout our 5-day forecast. As we take a look now, you can see that the highest temperature of this outlook is 24 degrees. That's on Sunday, and that does come with rain showers. Looking back into tomorrow, we've got full sunshine expected, 21 degrees, a beautiful day. Saturday expected to be lovely as well, 22 degrees is our high with a mix of sun and cloud. Once again, that rainfall is expected on Sunday, but then sunshine back for Monday and Tuesday of next week. And now we'll look to how Halton's top companies performed on the markets today. We'll be back with a sustainable moment after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on Halton News. I'm Jessica Kading. Up now, we have a sustainable moment clip brought to you by Lawson Hunter. Let's take a look.
We're speaking with Jeremy Day, president of Rechargeables. Jeremy, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's start off by explaining why you got into the sustainability business.
Well, it all started out back in university. I went to Brock University, graduated in 2007, and going into my third year, I just was losing the passion to go down the road of finance, which is what I was involved in. And I read a book, An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. And at that point, I made the decision to focus on entrepreneurship as opposed to finance, and make sure that I could go down a path in my career that could fight climate change and do something about cleaner air, but it's all stemming from the passion.
For someone that might be thinking in their industry, either they're working for a larger company that they want to promote sustainability, or someone that's thinking of a new career, what advice do you have for them?
You know, I encourage everyone out there just to really find something that they love. It just so happens to be solar energy and solutions for climate change for me. And, you know, I feel really motivated every day to go to work because I'm doing something that is great for today, but also something that's great for tomorrow.
What about municipalities? What can they do as far as energy efficiency or solar installations? Or there is a lot of talk about EV chargers being set up throughout the city. Is there anything else they can do?
I'm really encouraged by cities across the province declaring a climate change emergency and having climate change targets. So there is a lot available to them through NRCan to get funding for different initiatives, and it's smart for companies like Rechargeables to ensure that we all understand what it is that they need to do and what they want to do, and do our best to try to fit into that and support them.
Taking a look now at some upcoming events, including the Georgetown Fall Fair. It's back on, and you can enjoy your half chicken dinner with potato salad, coleslaw, and cookie this Friday. That's between 5 and 7 p.m. in the Georgetown Fairgrounds as a drive-through event. The classic cars will still be on display as well. You're asked to enter the park through Charles Street Old Armory and exit through Parkview. For more information, please visit georgetownfallfair.ca. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning into Halton News right here on your TV. We'll be back with another live edition tomorrow night at 5:30. Until then, I invite you to connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Your TV Halton. You can also connect with us via email at haltonnews@cogeco.com. Please do feel free to send us any comments, questions, or story ideas. And if you'd like to see more content, please visit us online at yourtv.tv. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading.